people will highlight all the problems that you have. Trust me.
Yes.
You're not going to figure it out up front, and you're not going to pay your way out of that experience. So you might as well just do it as inexpensively as you can, figure out your process, and then you can go back. You can fill in the things that you want to spend money on intelligently because you actually know that you need them. I had a whole elaborate thing when I first started, man, and I threw two people in it, and it was total crap. None of it mattered after all that thinking about it. So for me, anything between my original certification, maybe online trainer academy, in between those two things and the clients, it's a waste of my time and money. The first thing I need to do is get people in it, and they'll help me figure it out.
This is the online trainer show, trainer show, trainer show. This is the online trainer show.
We shouldn't have a podcast. Sorry. Oh, Keto's got the good. She's got the good internet today.
Yes, I got the good internet. I had the wrong link. I was trying to get into the wrong link. So here I am now, though.
Do you have any depth perception? It looks like one of your eyes is covered.
Rude. Also, I just got out of the shower because that's the kind of person that I am. I shower at noon because why not? It's a pandemic and nothing makes sense.
I just feel like you think that you're better than me, that you actually shower. What? Everything about this podcast is about you being better than me these days.
I think you mean us, Jonathan.
I shower, I put on pants, I don't have... Legitimately, just as I got home to prepare for this, I said hola to the landscaper who just showed up, who was cutting grass, and I was like, I hope he's done in like 15 minutes because we got to record the podcast. He is done in 15 minutes, but... And here's the but. Now they're cutting tile, but, and here's the other but, they're cutting tile at a different place from where they were cutting tile before.
Oh, wow.
So,
it never ends.
Dear listener, here's where we remind you that you're not paying anything for this. And I apologize for the bad sound quality. There is legitimately no combination of quiet and reliable good internet that exists anywhere in the town that I'm in. So, if you want an interesting podcast, which means you want me on the podcast, i.e. a couple weeks ago, what happened when I wasn't here. I tried to listen to those episodes. I made it through like 10 minutes, guys. I just couldn't do it.
Sure.
Oh,
wow.
Close your mouth. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
But we're doing part 2 of this one today because I listened to the podcast that went live today and I was like, damn, that's a good topic. Too bad I can't get through this one. And I really like listening to the topic. But I didn't get to it, so we might repeat what we talked about in part 1 a little bit. I might repeat it because I didn't actually listen to all of part 1, but we'll see what happens.
The disrespect, Jonathan Goodman.
Terrible.
The sheer disrespect.
The blatant, absolute blatant disrespect.
Just we slaved over a hot stove preparing that podcast for you, and do you eat any of it? No, you eat nothing. You want McDonald's. Yeah. Go talk to your father, because I can't even look at you right now, Jonathan. I can't even look at you. All the toiling, and Keto made the fries. We made home fries for you, Jonathan, and you wanted McDonald's fries. She hand cut those fries out of Idaho potatoes. Amber slaughtered her own cattle. They do that in South Carolina. It's a weekend thing. And I fresh baked the buns for that meal, and you want McDonald's now. Shame on you, sir. This is why I don't converse with millennials on a regular basis. I just don't do it. Are you a millennial, Jonathan? Are you Gen Z or Y? How does that work? I don't know.
So I was responding to a message. I didn't hear what you just said. What?
Millennials. We are millennials. Right.
Okay. It depends what you look. Everyone talks about millennials.
We are elder millennials.
Yeah, I think I'm like
senior.
I think officially millennials started in like 1984, 1985. So
I think so.
So I'm like one of the first years of it because I'm born in 1985.
Okay, you guys are senior millennials then.
What are you? If it goes like Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, are you like Generation M? What are you in?
No, I'm X. I'm X, Jonathan. Generation M would be a baby boomer. Like I'd have to be born in like the 50s, lived through the Great Depression. Yeah, I'm Gen X. I'm Gen X. You know, I mentioned something about Amber slaughtering cattle on Saturdays, and that's not where I'm going with this. Amber gave me the look as soon as I said her name. She was like, "Oh yeah, like, this ought to be good." But what I was tell me guys if you noticed this. Now, have you ever seen? You guys have seen prescription medication commercials, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, ask your doctor about Xantor. They all sound like Japanese manga robots. Don't Xantor, Xylocam. Have you guys ever noticed that it's always Saturday in a prescription commercial? And that's what I'm going to say. When you see some prescription commercials later today, and you will if you look anywhere, notice how it's always Saturday. Because people who take prescriptions have amazing Saturdays. They ride bicycles, horses, motorcycles. They take flights on Saturdays. They have picnics. Like it's always freaking Saturday. Nobody that takes prescriptions has jobs, obviously. And in every prescription commercial, there's always music. There's always a soundtrack. It's always sunny. And it's always Saturday when you see a prescription commercial. And I'm going to let you rest with that. I'm going to let you observe the intellect of my humor that I've just displayed, later on, and the joke will make more sense. But be mindful of that out there in podcasting. It's always Saturday in a prescription commercial.
But it's only our country and like one other country, right, that actually has commercials for prescription drugs.
You mean the only a few places that allow legal sale of drugs via television?
Canada, you can't advertise prescription drugs. That was my dad's business. My dad worked in the pharmaceutical company in logistics, in warehousing and distribution for his entire career. Like he was an efficiency engineer. And so I know a lot about this because he consulted for like all of these companies. You can't advertise prescription medication in Canada.
Yeah.
Whereas in the U.S., it's just like massive business.
It's the only thing you can advertise.
It's
in the United
basically
States.
the only thing you can advertise. Every time
It's
it's basically Doritos and prescription medication.
My favorite part is the laundry list of like side effects. It's like, and your eyeballs will fall out, but take this medication, right? It's like, what?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Right. And that's the Doritos commercial.
Do not take alcohol with prescription Levitra. Do not look prescription Levitra in the eye. Don't raise your voice around a bottle of prescription. Like it's just the side effects are so stupid. Oh my gosh. So they took off. So we had cigarette commercials here in the States when I was coming up. That's what happened during Generation M, Jonathan. That you're so curious about. Generation Mers like myself. You know, we grew up with the Flintstones advertising cigarettes on television.
Wow.
And then they said that you could no longer have cigarette commercials. I remember the Marlboro Man and things like that. But I think the prescription drugs are probably worse than the cigarette. Like, hopefully, I know the kids aren't going to ask for some cigarettes, but you know, they literally tell you at the end of the prescription commercial to go ask your doctor for some.
Yeah, right.
It literally says, ask your doctor about prescription Levitra. So you go to the doctor,
I think it actually says, ask your doctor if prescription Levitra is right for you. I think actually.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
But they probably can't say, ask your doctor for it.
They probably can.
They probably can.
And, you know, yeah, that's probably true. That's probably you make a strong point, Jonathan. Strong gunback to the podcast.
My favorite beer commercial. Yeah, thank you. It's like Carolina's contribution to choosing.
That's
like
awesome.
Joe.
I'm like,
Great.
yes.
What was the actual line that she used? I gotta find this because it was perfect. It's like every time, for anybody who doesn't know, we talk about on Slack like what we're gonna talk about in the podcast, and usually we say, screw it, we're just gonna figure it out on the air. But every once in a while, we actually do figure out like a topic in advance.
Yeah.
And let's see. Okay, Amber yesterday at 3:06. Hey, cool kids, let's figure out what to chat tomorrow. Anything interesting happen over the last week? Have anything you want to discuss? Okay. I responded like a day later, and I was the first person to respond. This is how. And I said,
appropriate.
right. So I said 20 hours ago, how about something with your challenge poster, Amber? That thing was pretty cool. I imagine it could be the launch pad for keeping clients engaged, retention, which is something we're going to do in the future. And then Ren says, Also, any topic that causes Amber to have to talk more sounds good to me. And then Carolina responds with, keep in mind, Carolina responded after all of us about a day after the original post. Responded with, I say yes, ! And then in brackets, even if I'm not sure what I'm saying yes to. Here's the funniest thing about this, is we know that she sees these things because she responds almost immediately after a decision is made. Just saying, yeah, that sounds good, guys, I agree. And she doesn't even know what she's agreeing to. She has no idea what I'm agreeing to with the challenge poster that I'm talking to with Amber. She actually doesn't know. She didn't even ask. And that's how few shits Carolina gives sometimes. She literally did not ask what this was referring to. She simply stated that she didn't know what this was going to be about, and then that was it. And then she was just going to show up for the podcast and be herself. And probably score a touchdown with 5 seconds left in the game.
All that I can say is follow me for more tips on how to work as a team.
Oh my God!
I got you covered, guys. I got you covered. Teamwork.
If Keto had a biography, the title of the book would be Catalina Belmontes, Enthusiastically Apathetic. That would be the I've never seen apathy served with a side dish of enthusiasm the way Keto does. Like, when she doesn't give a shit about something, she's all in and about not giving. It's the happiest not giving a shit that you could ever.
The subtitle would be How to Deliver the Minimum Effective Dose.
It's minimal, but it is effective.
The accuracy. The sheer accuracy of this conversation.
Well, you're welcome.
And remember, guys out there, this is free. And you're welcome. So we did such a fantastic job when Jonathan was gone that he was like, hey, I want a little bit. I want some of that. We made such a delicious dish of podcasting that he was like, you guys didn't save me any. So when he returned, we said, Jonathan, the least we can do for you, because this dish was so delectable. It was so inspired. The culinary delight that was the episode that he missed.
It was like a nice fresh ceviche with a spritz of lime over top and cold bubbly water on a hot day.
Amazing.
Like Jonathan said, I'd like to have some of that. So
I actually don't like ceviche very much.
I don't even know what ceviche is.
Delicious.
It doesn't sound southern to me, so I don't.
North and South Carolina is not very close to the ocean, and that does.
Yeah.
I think if somebody were to walk up to your house and order you ceviche, and I don't think you would want it because
we got a coast. We're on the East Coast. It's not close to where I am.
It's not going to be fresh. It's like my favorite thing here is like sushi is reasonably common where I live here in Mexico. And there's tuna everywhere. There's tuna and mahi-mahi everywhere. And, like, literally the dudes are just pulling them out of the ocean and, like, walking up to the restaurant and be like, you want this? But then every once in a while you see salmon on the menu. And it's, like, salmon sushi. It's like, yo, there ain't no salmon anywhere close to here. Like, I don't know if I want that sushi.
Turn that down. Turn that down.
Yeah.
So we've got we're placing a double order today. Gonna revisit a part two of the podcast that actually aired today. Is that what Ducks? Part Dukes?
Well, Due is Portuguese.
Okay.
Dos is Spanish. De is French. Due is Portuguese.
I don't even know what we're doing. Can we let Ren finish? Because I don't know what the topic is. Like, where we go? Like, I don't know.
Keto's on the edge of her seat. She still doesn't know what the episode's about.
She's like, legit, guys, I need to know whether I can turn off my brain or whether I'm going to be forced to be stone-engaged with this. I got messages that I need to answer if I'm not going to be involved today.
You guys out there are experiencing Keto's emotions in real time as you both learn what the podcast is about today. Keto, we're going to talk about the about building your business when you don't quite have the funds,
Right.
Which is we're going to dive deeper, I guess, into what we talked about on what is now known as part one of that discussion. You're gonna have to edit. You're gonna have to take the old title to the Photoshop there, Amber, and throw a part one on there. Just scribble it in aerosol can. Just spray paint part one over the top of it. So let's dive in here, right? Keto's got squirrels. Amber's here. Jonathan's going through some stone cutting, which is the chief export of Mexico. From
I'm just responding to a message.
Okay, respond to the message, Jonathan.
That's fine. I knew what the topic was, so I figured while you were
true.
introducing the topic that I knew what it
You don't
was.
have to pay attention.
I'd get caught up
This is
here.
true.
When Katie Prendergeist just
Tetris.
tagged you in a comment in OTA level
did he?
2 and Online Trainer Academy level 2, so whenever you're done, you should probably go and respond to that. What's it about? What did she? She's asking about video replies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
she's probably going to yell at me.
Well, her problem is that when she does a video reply in comments and groups, she says it often times out before uploading. So she
got
says
the
it's
same
really
internet as
annoying
Keto.
and time consuming so far, and she's hoping for some help on that. So yeah, definitely if you can get
Just
to that.
text her back to go over to Instagram and DM at Jedi Mayor. Get that Instagram. Yeah, get the internet fixed. Is she in Barry? She's probably in Barry.
Nah, she's Colorado.
Oh, okay. I don't know anybody there. So what was I talking about? Oh, today's podcast. So we're diving a little bit more deeply into making my way downtown, working your way through the OTA, and I could not sing it. Making your way through the ATM, making my
What are
way
the lyrics
downtown
to that
again.
song?
I don't know.
I
know
don't
she's
know.
making her way. She's making her way downtown. That's all I know.
Making my
and
way
then stuff-
downtown, walking
That's
fast,
all I know.
faces pass,
that-
and I'm
Oh my God.
homebound.
Oh,
Staring
no.
blankly
Oh, no.
around, just making my way.
Oh,
making
no.
my
What
way
is
through
happening?
the crowd. And I need you. And I miss. And now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you
I think
know
it's
I'd
more
walk 1,000
if I
miles.
could fall into the sky. The
I
time
don't
was
know
passing.
music.
I think that's how it goes.
Is it?
God,
It's a bit higher
So-
voice though, isn't it?
If you're still, it's a higher voice. If you're still listening to this podcast, which you absolutely should not be, now we're about to give you some actual information
I
about
feel bad
something
for
relevant to
people
your
who
life.
are like. I feel bad for people who like go for a jog and it's cumbersome to change the podcast in the middle of the
And they're
jog 'cause
stuck.
that would ruin their flow. They're just straight up. They're like, oh, 45 minutes. I'm going for a 45-minute jog. Like this is a good length of time for a podcast. And then they get into it and they're like in a flow, right? And then they realize what the podcast is,
They can't stop.
but then they don't want to stop
that-
because they don't want to get out of their jogging flow. I feel really bad for those people.
Yeah.
Also because they're
Keto's
jogging.
gone.
Mostly because they're jogging
Yeah.
is why I feel bad for those people.
Keto's gone. She's given up. So, Jonathan, you must have some points here because we talked about this once, and I don't know if you made it through the entire podcast
I
that
didn't,
we
no.
recorded previously, and that's okay. That's okay. You won't know how poorly you're doing in contrast to what we did already, so it should be easier for you to deal with it. Deal with the loss you're about to take and not being quite as good as the three of us were when we discussed this originally.
We've talked about this. My entire strategy in business is to figure out a way to get people smarter and better than me at stuff, and then take credit for their work. So like, it's totally cool that you guys are better than me at this. Like, that was my plan all along. Like, you don't get that. I don't know how. This is episode like 70, 80 something. Like it's on your phone or whatever. Just
It's like the
check
end
that.
of a Scooby-Doo episode.
Right.
That was my plan all along, and I'd have got away with it too. If it wasn't for that stupid dog and you meddling kids.
Right.
So, Jonathan, take us into to where you want you want to dock this.
You guys-
where's our port of call here?
Well, before I got bored and turned it off, you guys gave some really good, like, very specific points about using Google Sheets, about using PayPal for free, about not like using software and stuff like that. What I want to get into more is more philosophy, I guess, and psychology, which is kind of where all my mind always goes. Is like, to me, that's always the root of these problems, right? There's specific tactics of like, what do you do if you don't have money, which are like very important, right? What are the tactics if you don't have money that you can still do the work you need to do? And I liked how you broke it down in the last episode, where you basically said like a trainer needs to do 3 things, right? Like, you got to figure out a way to get clients, you got to figure out how to get your clients to pay. You got to figure out how to get your clients to pay. You got to figure out a way to deliver them a program. You got to figure out a way to service them. Mm-hmm. Right, so like, provide them the support. Is that not what, Amber? You're giving me a face. Did I mess that up?
No, it's pretty.
I think it's the term that you used that she's like, don't say it like that. Like, don't go servicing clients.
Well, you got to figure them to service.
What is Ren doing? In what business is Ren now that we don't know about? See, I interpreted it perfectly.
We're not attending a fishbowl party. I told you guys the fishbowl party story, I think. We're not attending the fishbowl party like I used to get invited to by my clients. That was always fun. Hey, we're having a party tonight. Do you want to come? Oh, I mean, maybe. Yeah, it should be fun. Okay, cool. Like, here's what happens. You're inviting me to a swinger party? I think I'll pass on that one. I'm like 20 years old. You're like 45. But maybe next time. If you're a fitness nutrition coach that's looking to master online coaching so that you can help more people, make more money, and have more freedom, then the Online Trainer Academy can help. OTA gives you the framework, knowledge, and support to have predictable success with your online coaching business. From marketing to business development to how to assess and motivate your clients online, it is constantly updated and refreshed to keep up with a dynamic market. Not only that, OTA is proven. In 7 years, we've helped over 30,000 coaches in 87 countries go online. Truth is, we know what works, so you can get right to the success part. And in case you're busy working a full-time job or you're a full-time parent, know that you can go at your own pace. There's no deadlines to complete OTA, and you have lifetime access. That said, if you are ready to make a rapid change and finish the course in the next 8 to 12 weeks, you can expect to invest 3 to 5 hours each week on the program. And here's the best part. If you join today, you will make an extra $1,000 a month in 90 days, or I'll give you your money back. So if you're ready to build the fitness business you want and make the money you deserve, go to onlinetrainer.com/academy to enroll today. And I hope to see you in there.
Oh, sweet.
Let's talk about why you think that you need money to get started.
Oh, here we go.
I think that is going to be important because I hope that this kind of resonates with people. The idea that you're scared to do something. And there's a lot of things that we do when we're scared to take action because we might not quite understand what we should be doing or what we shouldn't be doing or what's accepted. And so that's a problem. And throwing money at a problem seems like you're taking steps in the right direction. Whereas what you're actually doing is you're procrastinating from what you know that you really should be doing, which is starting before you're ready and taking in feedback and gaining appropriate context so that you can actually figure it out and figure out where you want to spend your money also later on. So that's really what I wanted to talk about. And I have no idea whether you guys talked about that in the second half of the podcast when we hit on this stuff in the beginning. But to me, there's kind of 2 parts of this problem, right? How to start an online training business when you're broke. One is the tactical stuff, which you guys hit on in part 1 pretty well from what I listened to. I mean, just make sure that you're distracted enough when you're listening to the podcast, because there's not anywhere close to enough nonsense. It is far too straight to the point and direct and actionable for what we want to achieve here in the podcast. Whereas what I want to hit on this one is in part dos, in part deux, in part deux, is the like why you think you need money to start, why you think that you can't start if you don't have money. And there's some like pretty deep rooted stuff there. I mean, maybe you're scared, maybe you simply don't know, and you feel like, oh well, I need somebody to tell me. You're like, what happened in the Facebook group last week, Carolina, where I had to Google something for you?
Yes.
Like you asked You said you were too lazy to use the search function in the Facebook group for a book recommendation that somebody had. And what is it? And I literally Googled the author's name and book and then sent you the link. There's a lot that you can learn to get started, but how do you know how to sift through that information? And the reality of it is you start by finding trusted sources and you kind of listen to their guidance, i.e. us. And we have a lot of free material to get you going, right? We also have like a very low cost beginning part of the Online Trainer Academy. Like if you have $87, you can get started with the Online Trainer Academy. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you to get going, to figure out where you want to go, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
That's it? This is your brilliant insight?
I'm hoping for, it's not like I didn't guarantee a brilliant insight here.
True indeed.
I feel like it's an important point. I feel like bringing up the topic and bringing to light the conversation about the psychology behind this stuff is like pretty important. I'm not saying that it's like a brilliant insight, but I was looking for a little bit of help from one of my three friends.
What else? You get by with a little help from your friends. All I'm hearing is songs today. That's all I'm hearing. So what Jonathan's saying here is that it's not so much what the technique is, it's the fact that you think you need something.
Yeah. So what we're saying is don't sweat the technique.
Right, don't sweat the technique, which is another great song. Golden age hip hop. So I get this a lot of times with clients who say they need motivation, and for the coaches out there listening, hopefully this resonates with you. You have clients say, I just can't find my motivation. I don't know where my motivation is. I've lost my motivation. When the reality is that there's no such thing. So you're waiting on something to show up that doesn't really exist in the first place, and then you're blaming the fact that you're not active on that thing. The fact that you don't have monetary access to certain specific things that will bring your business to light is in and of itself its own sticking point, right? Because some way, somehow, you came into the core belief that only the paid version of these tools is going to work for you. And a lot of times that comes down to, quite frankly, comparing yourself to your peers. And this is where a lot of our imposter syndrome comes from. For me, in this context, Jonathan, it's just another extension of imposter syndrome. My clients won't like it if I don't have blank, or if I don't, Ren's got an app. He's got a Fitness Jones app. If I don't have an app, then my clients will think blank. And it's not even your clients that are the real concern. Your real concern is that you're so fixated on what some coach is doing that's 8 years ahead of you in this game. You're starting off on day one. You're comparing all your things to their things. I get this a lot when I'm talking to coaches as an Online Trainer Academy mentor in the academy. See what I did there, Amber? When I'm talking to them in the academy, they will commonly reference Amber's welcome kit. Like, I get this a lot.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm really struggling with my welcome kit. I saw Amber's and I'm like, hey, wait, right. I'm gonna stop you right there, friend. Nobody on this call is Amber Reynolds.
Yeah.
Let's just get that squared away. Literally, and this ties back to what Jonathan's saying. Literally, if you sent your clients an email that said, welcome to my training.
Yep.
It's 12 weeks of amazing training, and you had a picture of you in the email, you would blow them away.
Yep.
Compared to what they've experienced with other coaches. And this falls into that same category, right? I don't have the app. I don't have the clever payment methodology. I don't have the clever way to interact with you during the course of the week. Literally, if you sent your clients an email, hey, I'm just checking on you. Or if you sent them a text, hey, just making sure things are going okay, you will have blown them out of the water for contact compared to what they've dealt with. I think what people don't realize, Jonathan, is how much the certification course that we do differentiates them from everyone who's frantically scrambling to figure out how to zoom their way through online coaching.
Not just differentiates them, how much money it actually saves them.
Right.
The horror
Right.
stories that I've heard, the unbelievable amounts of money wasted. And I'm not even talking about spending money on really, really, really expensive mentors way before you're ready. What I'm talking about is spending tremendous amounts of money on software before you're ready.
Right.
Not like a PT distinction. I'm talking like a ClickFunnels, like a marketing software type stuff. Like this stuff a lot of the time is like hundreds of dollars a month. It's like, okay, cool that you're building a funnel even though you don't really understand yet what a funnel is, but have you ever thought about how you're going to funnel people into your funnel to be funneled? I get that the word, like, let's just say funnel a few more times here. I mean,
Yeah, but it's the same with like Facebook ads, right? Like Facebook ads and Google ads. It's like, do you really need, is that the best use of your money, time, and energy right now? No.
I got a message on Instagram. I got a message on Instagram from somebody that was talking about how they really wanted to do online training. They've been looking forward to doing it for a while, but they haven't because they really don't want to do Facebook ads. I was like, well, you don't have to. And it's that idea. I mean, the amount of money that is just poof, gone. Hundreds of dollars on maybe misplaced ads, on software you don't need, on services you don't need, let alone the time it's going to take you to figure out all of this stuff. Whereas you come along with the Online Trainer Academy, we're like, hey, by the way, did you know you actually don't have to invest a cent in anything else ever if you do the online training? You might decide to, right? A lot of our students do decide to use particularly online training software, but you certainly don't have to. We're going to show you how to do stuff.
Right.
And by the time that you do, you should be bootstrapping back into these things. You should take money you've already made in business. One of the things you guys were talking about education in one of the episodes that I wasn't here was, like after your initial certification, if you were to go back, like Amber, you talked about how you're a certification junkie, would you do like all of these additional certifications, or would you do Online Trainer Academy first right after certification? It's like unequivocally Online Trainer Academy comes second, because
100%.
none of these certifications help you build your business, help you make any money. And by the way, the more money you make, the more education you can do.
Right.
So even though it might be unfamiliar to you, it's scary to do something that's different. We didn't get into this business. We didn't get into this industry because we wanted to be business people. But the reality of it is, if you want to make it in this industry, you have to be halfway decent at business. And that actually comes first. You get your certification so you're good enough. Like I'm talking your initial certification. And then you learn the business. And then you continue to get better. That's how it goes. You don't, and so the amount of, God, just keep the stories I could tell you. Like literally, this one dude spent $10,000, he told me, on software trying to patch together this email marketing funnel client delivery system. $10,000 before he had a single client. Oh my God, man.
Like, yeah, you gotta wonder too, like talking about the psychology of it, does this become a point in which you are kind of like trying to fool yourself into believing that you're actually making progress? Right?
Because
Because
that's the procrastination part.
Yeah. And it's just a way, and if I'm throwing money at it, then it means that I'm invested in my business. No, it doesn't. It just means you're being irresponsible with your finances, and that's okay if that's what you want to do, but don't peg it as being, you moving forward, because you're not actually. So I think that's an important kind of like point to reconsider, is like in the psychology of this, are you tripping yourself with the useless, expensive actions because it soothes you into making yourself believe that you're actually making progress?
Well, so let me tell you a story. Go for it, Amber, and then I want to tell you a story that I think will hammer that point home that Carolina just made. But go for it, Amber.
Yeah, before the podcast, I just got off a call literally about this. They've spent a ton of money on Samcart. They're looking at like Active Campaign and all of this other stuff, and they bought all of the mini courses, all of like the done for you programs and everything from other coaches, and they have no business currently whatsoever, but they're bleeding money. And so I have her doing mentoring with me for the month, and we're testing out some new mentoring tactics, and I'm like, look, you are not allowed. Like, you are not allowed to buy anything new. I forbid you to, like, other than study the OTA and wait until we come up with the game plan together. Like, you're not allowed to do anything else. Like, for now,
come up with the game plan. That's the key. So next week, you guys know I'm taking off the podcast Tuesday because it's Allison's birthday on Monday, and so we're taking 2 nights away, right? And we're going up the coast a little bit and just staying at like a pretty fancy place for 2 days. Like, we're kind of balling out a little bit and like doing it. It's really, really nice. It's like this baller like treehouse like private thing. It's really nice.
Oh, that's nice.
So this place gives a 10% discount if you pay in cash, because Mexican taxes and also Mexican credit card fees are just super high. So places often. So anyway, so I have to get a lot of cash so I can get a 10% discount. Okay, so a 10% discount is about $140 US. If I take out 5,000 pesos, so this room is 23,600 and something pesos for a few nights, right? Which is like whatever, $1,400. Okay, so if I take out 5,000 pesos out of the ATM, every time I take out 5,000 pesos out of the ATM, I get hit with a 100 peso fee. So I actually had to check myself, because I sat down and I just did the quick math. It's like, okay, well, if I'm going to save if I'm going to save 2,300 pesos, right, 10% of 23,000. If I'm going to save 2,300 pesos and I need to take out cash 5 times, well, that's going to cost me 500 pesos, which means I'm going to be 1,800 pesos up, right, if I do that. Still, every time that I'm taking out money at the ATM, there's pain involved in that. If I were to just pay with credit card, even though it would cost me more money, there's no pain associated with that, even though it would actually cost me about $140 more. This is why I actually really, really love living in cash-based economies, because we hardly touch our credit cards here, because everything's cash. There's so much pain in spending the money that we spend way less, but it actually seems like we're spending more. It seems like this place is costing me more money, and I have to check myself. Like, I still have to question it. And I've probably gone back. It's simple math. I've had to go back and do the math 3 or 4 times. That's how easy it is to throw away money at stuff, when it's easy to throw away money at stuff, versus actually doing the littlest bit of work to make sure you're spending your money intelligently.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
And what would, like, you guys, I want to hear from the 3 of you, what would be the intelligent ways of spending money?
I got to tell you, for me, this is Ren, in case you don't recognize my voice. For me, for me,
Ren, I think you're going to have to slow jam this. That's the only way people are going to recognize your voice.
Right. You know, the things, I'm going to abstain from that for a second. Because the first thing that came to my mind was absolutely bad. Like it was not safe for podcasting. And it was this close. But for me, anything after initial certification, before getting a client, is a waste of money. That's just for me. Like, in between initial certification and getting clients, I don't need to spend money on anything, because, you know, I equate it to setting up a date with a lovely young lady, maybe the first date, right? don't know her that well, I set up this elaborate date. So we decide that we're going to play I decide we're going to play miniature golf, and then we're going to take her to this great steakhouse, and then we're going to go overlook the ocean. As we have an incredible conversation until the dawn, right? And only to find out that her estranged father was a golfer, and mini golf reminds her of that, how he walked out of their life. My father walked out on us, only to find out when we sit down at the restaurant that she's vegan. Only to find out that when we go overlook the ocean, she's allergic to salt water. And the mist causes her to break out her. I've planned too much in the absence of the other human. And this is what happens when you spend a lot of money up front on all these processes. You don't even have any clients. You don't know what they're going to like. Let your clients co-build your processes.
Yes.
You throw people in it. You throw people in it, and people will highlight all the problems that you have. Trust me.
Yes.
You're not going to figure it out up front, and you're not going to pay your way out of that experience. So you might as well just do it as inexpensively as you can. Figure out your process, and then you can go back. You can fill in the things that you want to spend money on intelligently because you actually know that you need them. I had a whole elaborate thing when I first started, man, and I threw two people in it, and it was total crap. None of it mattered after all that thinking about it. So for me, anything between my original certification, maybe Online Trainer Academy, in between those two things and the clients, it's a waste of my time and money. The first thing I need to do is get people in it, and they'll help me figure it out.
That is preach. Wow.
Yes.
Loved it.
I mean, it is. I hope you can feel just how painful it is to me whenever I get a message from somebody, not just not just marketing stuff, but somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I'd really love to take the Online Trainer Academy. I know that I need it. I've been looking at it forever, but I can't afford it." Okay, but I've done this, and I'm currently doing this. It's like you've done 5 different certifications on post rehab, and you can't afford $87 a month. Yeah. Do you not see what the issue is here? Like, how has this problem gotten to be this bad? And then they're like, oh, and I'm also using, Pro Coach, or I'm using the software that I'm spending $100 a month for. It's like, you don't have a client.
Yeah, you haven't earned the right to buy any of that. But again, they fool themselves into thinking. And if I might remind you all, like James Clear very wisely said,
oh my God.
Motion does not equal action. Motion does not equal. Just because you're moving doesn't mean you're actually moving forward. That's James Clear for you.
What a surprise. That sounds like something that I said in a lot more words, a lot less eloquently. I hate you, James Clear. I hate you.
It sounds so much better than the way Jonathan put it. It's like I get it instantly when James Clear says it. I don't know. It's like he can see into my soul. He's just amazing. Just an amazing guy. Can we get him on the pod? Amber, can we get him on the podcast? I'm just checking. Just throwing it out there. Because that made so much sense. But really, Jonathan, to your point, I can't imagine what it feels like knowing somebody that spent money on 6 different certifications for athletes and they end up working with toddlers. Right. They don't even use the thing that they've paid the money for. But business strategy works for business, no matter who your target market is.
And the other piece of it, I mean, I legitimately get at least one message a day with this problem. I mean, it's that rampant, like usually more, but at least one message a day. But the other part of it that nobody's spoken about, and it's 1:00, so we got to go. But the other part of it that nobody's spoken about here is, what are you preparing yourself for? When I look at how I'm investing my money in anything, right? I want to get the greatest return for the longest period of time for that investment. And so getting better at fitness nutrition is 100% an incredible investment, because it's also stuff that you might use at some point in your life, right, for yourself.
Maybe.
But to me, a great investment should be something that's going to come with you, that you can take with you no matter what you do. Because look, the odds that somebody is going to be a personal trainer for the rest of their life or an online trainer for the rest of their life are tiny. I mean, everybody listening to this, all of you out there, the odds that you're going to be personal training clients for your entire career is slim to none. It's just the odds that anybody is going to be in a career for their entire career and not switch these days is slim to none. But the fitness industry especially, and I mean, all of the stats back this up. But if you learn business fundamentals, foundations, if you learn sales foundations, if you learn how to differentiate yourself, if you learn how marketing works, like, I got news for you. Like, the Online Trainer Academy, yes, prepares you to be a good online trainer, but you can bring that anywhere you go. Like, I prepare you in that program for life, for understanding business, managing your time better, understanding marketing better, differentiating yourself, selling yourself. Those skills that you learn, you bring with you anywhere. That's the type of education that you should be investing in. This movement towards super targeted, very specific, one-off use, oftentimes fly-by-night technology mastery that you know is going to be out of date within 6 months.
Yep.
Is just objectively a really bad way to invest your time and money. I mean, it's just not going to make you better over the long term. It's not going to scale. It's not going to compound upon itself, right? If you're good at marketing, if you understand sales, if you understand business foundations, like, you could do anything. I joke around that I am confident enough in my business acumen now that I could enter in any industry anywhere and make $100,000 a year within 6 months. I legitimately believe that. Because I know I have those transferable skills, and like, this is a learned behavior for me. I never took a business course in university. I have a 4-year honors degree in kinesiology. The first ever book about marketing or business I ever read was 2.5 years into my career as a personal trainer. I took my brother's first year marketing textbook off of the shelf in my parents' basement and read it. Like, these are learned behaviors, right? This is not something that, like, I've had all along, because it's damn important. Anyway, that's my soapbox.
100%. You know, so I hope you've enjoyed this episode, this part due. You know, if the what we're trying to impart to you, if I may slow jam this, is, you know, baby, if the money's funny, don't worry about it if you got the honey. Doesn't need to be sunny. Doesn't matter if your eggs are runny, because you can do this. Play it like a game of gin rummy. And you've been served, baby, and I mean the good service. Serve well, serve deep. Serve the way you needed to be served today. Take that with you, baby. That's free. This is the Online Trainer Show. So show notes can be found at onlinetrainer.com/podcast. We've solved all of your problems once again here on the Online Trainer Show. Thank you so much for Jonathan Goodman for his part.
And violated you multiple ways over the course of the
yeah. To violate.
If you don't have your problem solved, time wasted, and feel like you've been violated, it has not been a good episode of the Online Trainer Show.
Not been a good show. Not been a good show. And if it felt good, go back and get it one more time. So we'll see you guys next time on the Online Trainer Show. I'm Ren Jones with a mortified Amber Reynolds, a shocked but yet delighted Catalina Belmontes, and a fairly apathetic, what the hell did I get into, Jonathan Goodman. We'll see you guys next time. Jingle, jingle.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.